Bill went for a ride on his motorcycle one night with a passenger. He was completely sober and he was wearing all of his protective gear. He went around the corner of a country road and the back end of his bike hit a little patch of oil in the ground and he lost control of the bike. Immediately his passenger flew off the bike, only Bill held on. And when Bill held on, the bike flipped over and over and over and over until it finally came to a stop. And I'm going to tell you the story because what Bill had on that night was the difference between life and death. I'm Erin Field. I'm a personal injury lawyer in Connecticut with a statewide practice serving all of Connecticut. Lucky for Bill that he was wearing all of his protective gear because despite that he had broken just about every bone in his body, he had internal bleeding all over the place. They thought they were going to have to amputate his leg. And some more time went on, and they thought they were going to have to amputate his leg all over again. They didn't. A priest came a couple of times and read him his last rites. I mean, this guy was a goner. And he ultimately survived. And it took a couple of years of him with extensive therapy, being in the hospital for a long time, going through rehab, having to learn how to walk all over again, having to learn basically how to do what he did before the accident. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because if Bill didn't have his protective gear on that night, he would not have made it out of that accident alive. I mean, granted, you're probably watching this thinking, well, I don't want to be in the hospital for 2 years. Okay, well, that's fine, but he came out of it alive. And when he came out of it, he was actually in pretty good shape. I mean, I'm sure he must have pain from time to time, but he walks, he talks, he breathes, he uses his hands just like he did before. I'm just telling you that despite that, it's not as much fun to not wear your helmet, and maybe it's nice and summery and you just want to wear shorts. Making the decision to wear the protective gear could be the difference between life and death. And I know someone that applies to 100%. So if you want to discuss this, call me. I'm Erin Field. I have these conversations with people every day, and I'll welcome your call. Thank you.